Hello, my name is Gina, and we're going to practice a little bit of yoga. We'll start standing. You can stand at the head of your mat. Bring your feet hip-width or closer apart. Draw your tailbone down and lengthen up through your crown, coming into mountain. Take a breath here to center yourself. Inhale through the nose, and exhale through the nose. On your next inhale, bring your arms overhead. Look up towards your hands. Bring those hands together. Look past your thumbs. Keep reaching. Then on the exhale, fold forward through your hips. Lengthen out through your crown when you breathe in, letting your breath match your movements. Fold forward. Take yourself to downward dog. Relax your neck and face. And then roll it into plank. Lower down through your knees and your hips. Open your shoulders and give yourself a soft sway one way and the other. So let your center kind of just move you side to side. Good. Lower yourself all the way down to your forehead. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, and squeeze yourself off the ground. Then release. Take it back to downward dog. Roll up into plank again. This time lower down into Chaturanga. So shift forward, lower down, and then upward facing dog. Open the shoulders, press into the tops of the feet. Slowly bringing it back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Sway your hips a little side to side. And then we'll take our right leg up to the ceiling. Bend both knees and step the right foot forward towards your hands. Inhale, lift it up to standing. Lunge. Breathe. Twist it lunge. Turn towards your thigh, opening yourself up into a twist. Center and twist. Again. And twist. Drop your back arm back. Reach up with your top hand. And then bring your top hand to the floor in front of you. Lean into your fingers and open up into twisted half moon. Let's exhale the top arm down and come right into half moon. And then back down. And into twisted half moon. Drop your back foot back down. Just kind of walking that hand closer to the foot. Open yourself up. You can even straighten your front leg coming into a nice twisted triangle. Bend the front knee. Climb on down to your downward dog. Roll it up into plank. Again, easy. Hips. Open the chest. Lift the chin a bit. Tuck your toes, back to down dog. Left leg lifts up. Bend both knees, soften both knees, and step your foot forward. Good, take your time, wait for your inhale, and then rise. Lunge. Find your lunge, breathe into the places where you feel. Soften what you're not using. And then twist it lunge. Open up to the side. Maybe look back. Bring it forward. Twist it lunge. Forward. And twist. Pausing in the third twist. Drop your arm back. Reach your front arm up. Enjoy that. And this top arm goes to the floor in front of your foot. Just leaning into the hand. Bring you right into your twisted half moon. Top hand to the floor. Open up into your half moon. Just a big stretch on an inhale, then exhale right back down through the center. Twisted half moon. Drop your back foot back to the floor. Just bringing this hand closer to your foot. Open up a little more to the side. And if you'd like, straighten that front leg out. When you're ready, come on down to the floor. Bring it into your downward dog. Walk your feet to your hands and fold over your legs. You can grab one hand to one elbow and one hand to the other elbow and let your head just dangle in the middle. Take yourself to downward dog. Relax your neck and face. And then roll it into plank. Lower down through your knees and your hips, open your shoulders, and give yourself a soft sway one way and the other. So let your center kind of just move you side to side. Good. Lower yourself all the way down to your forehead. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, and squeeze yourself off the ground. Then release. Take it back to downward dog. Roll up into plank again. This time lower down into Chaturanga. So shift forward, lower down, and then upward facing dog. Open the shoulders, press into the tops of the feet. Slowly bringing it back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Sway your hips a little side to side. We can start in mountain pose. Finding mountain pose is the base for all of our balances. So if we take our feet hip width apart or closer and just feel our feet on the ground. So becoming connected with the floor is super important when finding balance. Also, being able to have a clear line of sight. If we have trouble seeing, if we wear glasses or contacts and we don't have our glasses or contacts on, it's okay. We can still do this sight fixation with our eyes. Just focus on something blurry. It just has to be something not moving. So it doesn't have to be in focus. So whoever we are and whatever our eye ailments are, come here and stand up. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the floor under your feet. Relax your arms down. Lengthen up through your crown. We'll begin in mountain pose, as mountain is the basis for most and all of our standing balance postures. So we'll take a moment and just feel our feet on the floor. Lengthen up through your crown, draw your tailbone down, and relax your arms. Becoming connected with the floor just by bringing your attention and your awareness to your feet. Feeling what you're feeling on the floor. Give yourself a soft sway side to side. Feeling the weight shift from one foot to the other. If your feet are close together, shorten your sway. We'll take all of the weight into one of our feet. Lift up the other leg into our hand. Grab your knee, open the other arm up, and just open and close a little bit here, finding balance and movement. If you have a wall nearby, you can hold it or walk to it, just in case. We'll take our foot into our ankle, calf, or thigh for tree. So we want to place the toes on the floor to begin. Your hands can be at your heart. This is the first stage of tree. Then we move it up, so the ankle. You're just above the floor. Knee is out to the side. Soften this knee, breathe. Feels good there, move up to the calf muscle, staying below the knee. So your knee's opening up to the side, standing knee, little bent, just a little bit, and your hands to your heart. Feels good there, you want to go up a little higher, go above the knee. So never on the knee, only below it or above it. Taking your foot to your thigh, when we're at our thigh, we can press a little bit. So the thigh can push into the foot can push into the thigh, sandwich like a magnet to a fridge. This knee opens up a bit. Hands into your heart center, and relax your shoulders down. If you're comfortable here, you can begin to lift your eyes. So we begin with our eyes maybe straight ahead or down. If your eyes are lifted up to the ceiling already, that's great. When we extend our vision upward, we increase the challenge of our balance. So if you're having a lot of trouble balancing, look at the floor. Try not to drop your chin down. Keep your chin about parallel to the floor, but bring your eyes down to the floor. And if you're feeling like that's okay, eyes can go straight ahead. If that's okay and you want to add to the challenge, lift your gaze up to the ceiling. And the next step will be moving those hands. So they can stay at our heart center. Again, a very comfortable, balanced place. They're connected. Or you can lift them up over your head. Staying connected keeps us in that comfortable, balanced place. If you want to add to the challenge, open your hands up and reach. You can always play with different variations of the arms. It's always welcome to move and maneuver with your own body's abilities. So just take yourself into whatever position here that we feel comfortable in. It doesn't have to be the same place every time. We can go on to the other side just by stepping down and taking a moment in the middle. So a lot of times when we go to our yoga and we do our yoga practice, we jump from one thing to the other super fast. Pause. This is yoga. We want to take some time. Give yourself a moment. And then repeat it on the other side. Bring your sway from one foot to the other. Find weight into the other leg. Lift your knee and grab on. Open and close. Open and close. Feel your way through until you're ready to stop this movement and begin to come back to your tree. If you were here on the other side, if you went super low on the other side, start there too. But if you want to try to raise your foot higher, that's okay too. If you want to stay here, also stay here. So we start with our toes on the floor, and maybe we lift our toes off the floor. We can always play with that right there for a while. Then when we're comfortable, our foot goes to our calf muscle, and our knee is just opening out to the side here, so we don't want it to fold in. Hands to the heart. Remember, inhale, lengthen up through the crown and soften your standing knee. If we lock that knee into place, we can only do harm. Soften your body. Inhale and exhale. Move your foot to your thigh if you want to. If it doesn't feel good, always back up a step. And take a moment, noticing the difference. Whether we stayed where we are, and we're just feeling that excess strength we're building from holding the pose, or we're progressing, and we're feeling the excess strength from building the pose. If your eyes are up and you're feeling unstable and wobbly, instead of reaching for the floor, take a deep breath. Let the eyes go to the floor instead. Slow down your breathing. Don't think about falling or saving yourself. Bring your focus to breath. Soften. And again, you can progress. So if you'd like to go deeper, bring those hands overhead. Keep the palms together so you're secure. Softening your shoulders, maybe drawing your tail down, feeling your foot on your body, wherever it is. Extending even longer, reaching through your fingers, shoulders low, crown of your head is reaching high. Stay as long as you need, even longer than I tell you and then I hold it in this video. Stay all day if you can. Bring your hands together when you're ready to come out, back to your heartbeat, and then back to the floor. We're going to learn to do a headstand. But first, we want to loosen up a little bit. Sitting in a cross-legged position, just start by grabbing your knees with your hands, giving yourself a soft sway forward and back. Breathe. Take it a little side to side. Maybe lean off to one side all the way, lift one arm up and over. Take it over the other way. We'll bring ourselves into downward dog. Just take it easy. Make your way. We don't want to just jump on into a headstand before warming our body up. So if you're already warmed up, you can follow along. It's just a short little warm up here. You can walk your heels, maybe sway your side a little bit side to side. Lift your back to lift your heels up and shift your chest down to sink your heels down. Maybe give your body a little side to side sway. Feel, press your hands into the floor, relax your neck. Maybe your lips and your face feel like the blood is rushing into them as you drop your head down. Just kind of experience that feeling. Then inhale and roll into plank. Inhale and exhale here, finding your bearings by, again, swaying a little side to side. Adjust your hands if you need to. Spread your fingers wider. Reach back into your heels, open your shoulders. And press yourself back into your downward dog. Drop your elbows down, coming into that dolphin pose. The shoulders sink into your back. Relax your neck and face. In dolphin, the head is just above the floor. So if your head is on the floor, press into your forearms a bit. Release the shoulders into your back. And reach the heels down towards the ground. Just like downward dog, we're kind of reaching through the back of the legs. And breathing super big and deep. If you feel you have the space, you can walk your feet closer to your elbows. Then press down into your heels more, relax your head. Just kind of warming everything up. You can drop your knees if you need a break. Toes together, forehead to the floor. When you come into child's pose, be sure to let go. Let every ounce of tension fall into the floor beneath you. Take a breath. And then rise up on your next inhale. Coming into a kneeling position, just release your hands by your sides. Relax your shoulders down, draw your tail down. Feel your knees on the floor. If you have an issue kneeling on the floor, a quick trick, you can just take your mat and grab it and pull it a little bit, then fold it over itself. Then your knees have a triple layer cushion underneath them. So if you have a thicker or thinner mat, you can do it more than once. You're double layering. You don't have to worry about having less space. That's a great way to just cushion the knees anytime you have to kneel down, and you can place it right where you normally kneel. So throughout the class, you can just go right to that spot. And then we'll take a moment and just breathe. Tuck the toes under in the back. If this doesn't feel good on the knees, just flatten the feet back. It's always important to go back a step. If something's not working, instead of saying I can't do it and just stopping, go back a step. If this is no good, go back to here. If it's good, stay and breathe. We're going to take one hand back. Open your chest up center and lift up and back. Coming into a half Ustrasana. Let yourself come to center when you're ready. Take it slow. Bring your other hand back to your heel. Center. Reach up and back through your hand. And then come back forward. So just a little bit of loosening up before we come into the headstand. You can bring both fists into your lower back. Elbows closer. Maybe press the hips forward. Pressing the hips forward, you can lift the chest up and drop the shoulders back. Cervical spine tracks the thoracic spine, so never tip the head too far. And then when we come back up, just pause in the middle. Draw your tail down. So finding the line in our headstand helps us to find the line in our handstand, and this will improve all of the other yoga poses. So every single yoga pose complements another. Every single one. And they complement multiples. So you can do one pose and practice and practice and practice, and that pose is going to help you get into this pose and that pose and that pose. So all of yoga as a whole is so super great and beneficial to all the rest of yoga. So let's take it to the headstand practice. We're going to find a comfortable place on the mat. Again, you can fold your mat to make it so it's more comfortable. You're going to come down and we're going to do the easiest variation first. I find this is most accessible to most people. Then you can progress and do all the other ones. There's so many variations to the headstand. So one, you're just going to take your hands on the ground flat. Just like you're going to do a handstand, but we're going to bring the top of our head to the floor. So we'll take the top of our head to the floor, and we will, I'm going to turn around, go the other way, so you could see my face. So we're going to take our head to the floor and bring our hands flat. Top of the head to the floor and bring the hands flat to the ground. Now you're creating a little bit of connection with your head already. So you can hang out here, and we can call this step one. Step one, we feel the ground on our head. We're also making shelves here for our legs maybe, or for help and support. So we'd want to make sure the hands aren't up here by our head. You're moving them down further, fingers facing upward. Once you get to this place, you can tuck your toes under and see how it feels to lift up off the knees. If it feels weird and not great, drop the knees back down and practice this. You can practice this variation of the headstand for as long as you need to, months, days, weeks, whatever. Just hanging out where you feel comfortable and not going any further. That's important. Once you feel comfortable lifting your knees off the ground, you can just shift your hips forward so you feel more weight into your head. So these hands, they're not doing nothing. They're not here. When you have them on the ground, you can push down into them a little bit. So that helps the head. I feel like that's what makes this most accessible to new headstand people. So after we get to step two, we're like, where we go from here? Okay, step three, you can bring one knee to your elbow and then one knee to the other elbow. And you can play around with step three for as long as you need as well. Just find a place that you can see that is not moving and stare at it. So when we stare at something still, our body becomes still. Once we're comfortable in this position for a little while, you can start playing with bringing your knees into your belly. So our knees into our belly, and then we slowly start to make that straight line by straightening up our legs. Breathe. Always keep a big deep breath here. Relax your expression on your face. Soften your skin all the way, everywhere. To come back down, you can come back the same way you came. Just drop your knees. Bring your toes. And this time you can go all the way down. Now, a lot of people say to go right into child's pose. I recommend coming down like you're going to go into child's pose. Maybe even bring your hands back, but then lengthening out through the crown of your head. So you're right above the floor and you're reaching through the crown. This is going to give the vertebrae of the neck and the shoulders a little more space. Then soften your head down and relax. So give yourself that moment. And when you put your head down, if it just doesn't feel right yet, do that again. Lift your head up, draw your shoulders back, lengthen out through your crown. So you're creating a little more space in the cervical vertebra, and then release. Take a breath here in your child's pose. Try to release all excess tension on your exhale. Keep practicing. Rome wasn't built in a day. If we practice our headstand on a daily basis, even a couple of minutes, this didn't take very long. You can do this every day, just for a few minutes, and then you'll see progression. Even if you do it twice a week, that's great. 3 times is great. But if you can find it in your routine to start adding a little bit extra, maybe headstand practice, maybe handstand practice, maybe just hanging out in your downward dog. Use that as your starting goal. Can I hang out in my downward dog after I wake up in the morning? Or before I go to bed? Or maybe right before dinner? Right before dinner or right after dinner? When we eat, after we exercise, we create a little bit more of a muscle in our body. So if you exercise and wait hours to have dinner or a meal, you're still getting a lot out of your exercise. But if you exercise and within 15 minutes eat some protein, have some dinner, maybe an avocado, something, you'll turn all of that exercise into progress. So Before dinner, do a downward dog for a couple of minutes while you're cooking. Pause and start stretching on the counter. The kitchen is the best place. I think I'll do a video in the kitchen just to show you how wonderful the kitchen could be in your workout. It's actually a wonderful tool and a great prop. So come back for more. Join me, Gina Rossi, and I will show you techniques in yoga. We'll visit some Pilates method and the bar method as well. If you have an anti-gravity hammock and you'd like to learn aerial fitness, I will make a few videos on that as well. So keep coming back for more. You can check out my podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and all the other places you could see podcasts. That is #MindBodyWellness. Check out my website at starsbodystudio.com